Good morning. Welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Friday, May 22nd. Let's get into the action. The S&Ps are higher by 0.26%. It's a positive uptick. Markets are assessing the developments of these U.S.-Iranian talks. The pre-market action is positive. We're very happy about that. But you have to remember that we're headed into a long weekend. And, you want to get a little nervous. You get a little cautious going into a long weekend, especially with these geopolitical events going on. So I'm expecting to see some weakness and some selling this afternoon. And, if the liquidity is tight, you're going to see these swings become larger. Because, let's face it, the two sides, the U.S. and Iran, are still far apart. We got the enriched uranium issue and we've got the Strait of Hormuz issue. Neither side really appears to be giving to the other. So I don't really expect any type of acknowledgement that this is going to occur. And you get a long weekend. So, I'd be cautious for Tuesday morning or Sunday night action on the S&Ps, but we'll keep an eye on it. Oil prices this morning, we're seeing gains in the oil markets. I mean, oil markets, they were up big yesterday. They were up, and then they were up like 2%. Then they slid 5%, because of the Middle East action. And, this morning we're seeing them back trading a little higher. So that's a little bit of cautionary tale. On the economic front, listen, you got a couple of reports, but the key thing that everybody's going to be looking for, there's really two. Christopher Waller, he's going to be speaking today at 10 a.m., and then, of course, the swearing-in ceremony of Federal Reserve Chair Kevin Warsh. Then we look at, news hitting the corporate front. Estee Lauder in that deal with Puig, that's over with. They terminated discussions. IMAX is exploring the potential sales. They're reaching out to various entertainment companies. OpenAI, hey, they're expected to do their IPO announcement today. Let's keep an eye on that. And then on the corporate calendar, we got shareholders meetings going on from Allstate, Honeywell, and Maple Bear, which is Instacart. Ticker CART. On the earnings front, we're looking at shares of BJ's Wholesale Club trading higher, Ross Stores higher, Take-Two Interactive higher, Workday higher, and Zoom Communications. They're all moving, after their earnings report. Decker Outdoors, I'm seeing some weakness in this morning. What else? There was one other that is a little weak. Copart. And then on Monday morning, we got AutoZone, eBet Systems, we got SkyCorp, Solar Group, and Pony AI. They're all scheduled to release on Monday morning. Okay, let's take a look at the European market, see what's going on. We're looking at the DAX, and DAX is up 0.83%, which is nice. Their GDP growth came in positive. I mean, they grew at 0.3% in Q1 2026, which is better than the 0.2 in 2025. Germany's seen some nice strong gains, up 204 points or 0.83%. The FTSE up 0.25%. Listen, you got strength in financials, you got strength in pharma stocks. So that's helping push that index a little higher. And the CAC comparison is up 0.45%, supported by gains in tech and luxury stocks. Let's face it, luxury stocks are running this morning on this news. Then we're looking at Asia last night. Asia was really green. You got the Nikkei, which was up 1,654 points. That's 2.68%. Led by gains in financial stocks and technology shares. And then you look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong was up 0.86%, and that gain was due to strength in banks and tech stocks. And then in China, the Shanghai Composite up 35 points or 0.87% with strength in tech, really driving that advance. You look at oil this morning. Oil is positive. We're seeing gains of 1.5%, 2%. WTI is at $97.75. Brent is at 104.72. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, continue to move a little higher today, but we'll keep an eye on. It's really about those Middle East discussions. Those Middle East discussions are really driving oil today. Okay, let's take a step back and let's take a look back at the U.S. and let's start taking a look at earnings. And we got to start off with BAH. That's Booz Allen. Listen, the stock's up 5.11%. I mean, they beat by 44 cents, and they did it on higher revenue. Decker Outdoors, ticker DECK. They beat by 13 cents on higher revenue. Stock's down 1.99%. But then you got Zoom Communications, ticker ZM, Zebra Michael. That stock is up 7.55%. They beat by 13 cents on higher revenue as well. So, but it's a positive move for them, and they gave good guidance as well. Upcoming, AutoZone, ticker AZO on Tuesday morning. EPS was $36.09. Expected move is 7.99%. eBet System, that's ESLT, Edward, Sam, Larry, Tom. EPS is $3.44. Expected move is 11.2%. Okay, let's get on to the economic reports for today. At 10 a.m., you're going to get the consumer sentiment. That's the University of Michigan report. 1 a.m., you get the Baker Hughes red count. But, at 10 a.m., you can hear from Fed Governor Christopher Waller. I mean, he was a key person pushing for lower interest rates while he was trying to become Fed chair. And since he's been, passed over, he's kind of been changing his tune and has been a little bit more hawkish due to the fact that inflation continues to move higher. So it'll be very interesting to see, how he comes across today when he speaks at 10 a.m. And then incoming Fed Chair Warsh, he's getting sworn in today. He might have some comments, and we'll have to wait what he sees. I mean, you can. He's under pressure to lower rates, but I don't think he has. The votes. Okay, we're talking about FANG stocks. Meta has reached a settlement with the Kentucky School District over accusations that the company purposely designed their platform to addict youth. Tesla SpaceX is going to try to launch another Starship today ahead of its IPO launch. In terms of Dow Jones 30, it's really, NVIDIA CEO came out there and he says, I'm not expecting any approvals from China that would allow the chip sales to resume. It's like, it's just too difficult. And Taiwan detained 3 people for forging NVIDIA chip export documentations. Interesting. In terms of merger news, IMAX is said to be exploring a potential sale. Puig has terminated its discussions for potential business combination with Estee Lauder. EL is trading higher on the news. In terms of guidance news, Zoom Communications, ticker ZM, they raised their full year 2027 EPS view to $5.96 to $6. Street estimate headed at $5.87. That's a nice uptick. Decker Outdoors, ticker DECK, they see their full year 2027 EPS 730 to 745. Street estimate has it at 733. That's kind of an uptick. Booz Allen, BAH, adjusted EPS for 2027, $6 to $6.35. Street estimate is at $6.25, which is a little bit high. But the stock's rallying today. Shareholders meeting, Honeywell, Allstate Corp, Maple Bear, ticker CART. Buybacks, PWR, Quanta Services launched a $1 billion buyback program. Zoom Communications announced an additional 1 billion share buyback. In terms of catalyst calls, Summit Therapeutics, ticker SMMT, Sam, Michael, Tom, they were added to the Citibank 90-day catalyst watch list. Let's move on to our pick of the day. It's kind of light action, but I'm going to be watching Pony AI, ticker PONY, Paul, Oscar, Nancy, Yellow. Earnings are out Tuesday morning. Expected move is 12.99%. I mean, you look at yesterday's call volume, 1,543 calls to 781 puts. That's 2-1. And then you got open interest of 59K on the call side to 28K on the put side. That's definitely positive. And Goldman's out there rather positive on the stock. I gotta like to see that. But I do see the stock this morning, and it is trading a little lower. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some additional weakness. I mean, right now it's 878 to 888. So I'm hoping to get in $8.45. In that range, around 850, I'll say, around 850. And I think that's possible. And if I can get in at 850, I really think I'll pull out a gain here. So that's my pick of the day. Pony AI, ticker PONY, Paul, Oscar, Nancy, Yellow, waiting for a little bit of a pullback. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the stories in the tape this morning. See if we see anything exciting. Algiant, ticker A, launches Algiant 9500 triple quadruple ICP-MS. Interesting. Abiva reports positive European opinion for one of their drugs, Mavorite. Merck gets a positive European opinion for Keytruda with Padcev. BJ's Wholesale receives first time investment grade rating from Fitch. They also reported that digitally enabled comparable sales growth of 28%. Sweet Garden trading higher. You know, JP Morgan upgraded the stock, but yesterday the call volume was very, very bullish on Sweet Garden. SG, Sam Grace. FUTU, Frank Uncle Tom Uncle. The stock's getting hit this morning. China's going to be imposing penalties on, Futu, as well as Tiger Broker and others. Biogen, BIIB, their Parkinson candidate drug did not meet phase 2 endpoints. Kawasaki teaming up with NVIDIA and Microsoft to improve robots and AI functions. LLY, Lilly, their GLP-1 drugs may significantly reduce tumor progressions, according to a study. That's positive. Walmart, Walmart has a bunch of gas stations, and their CFO came on and said that they see a drop in gasoline sales due to the spike in oil prices. Doesn't surprise me, but kind of confirms what we've been feeling. AMD is working with Taiwanese partners to ramp up production capabilities. That's all I'm seeing. Okay, now we're going to move on. We're going to talk about our pick of the day from yesterday. And, yesterday, we picked Zoom Communications, and this went on a little bit of a wild ride. The fact of the matter is Zoom opened up at $99 and fell to $95. 95.36. It closed at 96.75, which is positive. But then the earnings came out. You look at the stock this morning; it's trading over 104 to 104.50. That was well more. That's like a 7.5% move. Zoom Communications ZM was a great winner. Whether you got it at my opening price, whether you got it at the opening price or my entry price, it was a win-win. So Zoom Communications, green all around. All right, traders, you guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.